Salutations, my friends, and welcome to another episode, another installment of A Week in Geekdom Reviews. I am your host, Giovanni Menendez, and this, my friends, is episode 3. Thank you for sticking with us. It's been a blast, but on today's webisode series, my friends, we've got a special treat for you. I've just recently watched this movie and thought it was amazing. It is titled Evangelion 2.22. Yes, it is quite a strange title, but if you are into anime, you know what Evangelion is all about. I have the box right here, and I'm gonna do like a little kid, and I'm gonna show it off. Here it is. This is the Blu-ray box for Evangelion 2.22, as they so say. It is a sequel to the first reimagining of what they were telling, or what they were calling, Rebuild of Evangelion. Of course, everybody by now, if you know anime, you know Evangelion. It's been out for, I don't know, ages. I believe it's more than 10 years now since it's been out. And its lasting legacy, it's been amazing. Love it or hate it, you've got to admit it's a hell of a show. And in this case, Hideaki Anno wanted to revisit this amazing series of his own creation, and he wanted it to be more accessible for newcomers. And trust me, not every single one of you out there knows all the answers to Evangelion. That's perfectly understandable. I practically don't understand myself, but I enjoyed it anyways. In this particular movie, this is a sequel to the Evangelion 1.11. This basically covers what I believe is the later portion of the show, nearing the end, and it's basically a reimagining, folks, made simpler. The quality, the picture quality on this Blu-ray looks simply stunning, gorgeous, just beautiful CG work and hand-drawn animation, as it should be. I'm not a big fan of 3D movies or CGI movies, animation-wise, so I could appreciate at least the subtle touches of CG into the Evangelion models and such, but it was a hell of a ride. I really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend it. In this time around, our protagonist, the oh-so-lovable Shinji, voiced yet again by Mr. Spike Spencer, he's at it again, fighting them angels, and this time around, he's got a few new pilot friends, including the infamous Asuka, namely Shikinami. They actually changed their last name. I don't really know what that was about, but the picture quality, yes, I will go back to that, because that was basically what blew me away. It looked amazing. It sort of reminded me of the potential of what animation is supposed to aspire to, you know, to motivate and just inspire you to create better things and good things. And this is a good example of it, because it's a great story and great characters. It's actually surprisingly long. That's one complaint I've always had about direct-to-movies, American animation movies, that is. They've always been like 70 or 80 minutes long, and to me that's just, I know it's expensive, I get it. There's a procedure, I understand that, folks, but you gotta give me a little bit more. I mean, you can't expect me to fall in love with a story in just an hour. I mean, maybe in the 90s or when animation first started, when it was less than an hour, you can quite possibly do it. But nowadays, people demand just a tiny little bit more of you. And I think that, for example, this movie, I believe it runs for 112 minutes. That's perfectly fine. And when I was watching it, the fun thing about it was that I didn't quite perceive it as a movie. I thought I was watching the series again, which is good, because if you fell in love with the series in the first place, you're gonna love this. In my opinion, if you're a newcomer to the Evangelion franchise, obviously if you're viewing this review, you've already seen the first one. If not, trust me, go pick the first one, then come back to this and listen to me squander on about it. But overall, if you're a newcomer, pick it up. You will definitely enjoy it. I myself, I will have to admit, and my friends will probably give me slack for this, in my opinion, the movies are 10 times better than the original series. I mean, they do have constraints, because obviously you can't tell a 26 episode series in just a couple movies. I mean, it's going to be 4 movies. The third one, as of this recording, has not come out yet. It's going to come out, I believe, August 2012. I imagine Funimation will likely look for the licensing rights and stuff, as they did with the first 2 films, and we'll probably see that movie next year. That is, if we are still around after December 21st, 2012. A great movie. I wholeheartedly believe this is a quality product. I mean, there's some viewing of the backside of the DVD right here. And look at that, it's glossy, yeah. And if the packaging was pretty cool. I mean, I like the first movie better packaging wise, but this is pretty cool. You can flip it open here. Here we go. And onto the actual DVD itself. Here is the actual Blu-ray box. As you can see, the new character, which is actually, if it's on the cover, I gotta admit I was actually expecting a lot more from her, but I can understand, it's just a tease. She will be an integral part of the story later on in the 3rd and 4th final movie, but it was a little bit of a letdown. I thought they could have added just a tiny little bit more and I would have been satisfied, but overall it was just excellent. The execution was amazing. The one thing I gotta mention, get this on Blu-ray, listen to it with a 7.1 surround sound or whatever 0.1 you want to hear it at. It's amazing, folks. Literally, the sounds in this just rattled my brain in awesomeness. Being a sound junkie like I am, I really, really enjoyed it. And props to the engineer crew at Funimation. They really did a heck of a job of mixing this from Japanese to English. Listen to the audio commentary, by the way. That's some very informative stuff. I mean, of course you get the actors and it's a little humorous at times, but it was really informative in terms of what really went behind the scenes to make this dub of this film. And speaking of dub, all the classics are there. Some of the new guys are pretty good as well. Obviously, Tiffany Grant as Asuka, she's back. Spike Spencer as Shinji, he's back. Alison Keith is back, and as Misato. And then you've got a whole bunch of newcomers, and they, in my opinion, filled in the roles perfectly. Some will say they liked Amanda Winley better than Brina Palencia, but leaves much to be desired. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I really didn't mind Brina taking over, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, let's see what else over here. We're opening it inside, and as you can see, there's a lot of orange, which I thought was okay, I guess. The first one was kind of like a dark purplish color or something. And you get a really nice booklet detailing all the art inside. Let's see if I can take this out. Yes, sir. I mean, again, more orange. Backside is orange. It seems to be a particular color. Of course, you're probably screaming at me. That's because of Asuka's machine. And yes, that's true. It is of orange color. But here you've got in your booklet your basic info on characters and such. Let's zoom in right there. Perfect. The story itself, in a nutshell, angels, after a long catastrophe, have come to destroy and wreak havoc on mankind, and of course, organizations in the world have built robotic humanoid thingies called Evangelions, and they're using human pilots, specifically young teens, to pilot them against the angels, or I like to call them fluffy monsters, so they can stop the end of the world as we know it. Dramatic, but of the good kind. It's of the good kind, and I do believe this movie doesn't really give you all the answers at the end, but it leaves you hanging just enough that you really want to check this out, and hell, you really want to do. The next one, it's called, I guess it's going to be called when it comes out on DVD, 3.33, and so forth. But overall, great character designs. It was a wonderful adaptation of a long cult classic TV series. If you love the TV series, you're going to love this even more. It looks amazing. Whereas the first movie adapted the first 6 episodes, this one was a little bit longer. I believe it was near the end. At least, in my opinion, took elements from a long range of episodes, more than 6. And everything was there, you know. It was a solid cast. Such a great movie that whenever something happened on screen, you were like, ooh, what's that? I gotta see. And it just kept going and going in that rhythm. It didn't really lose enough steam. There was a little part at the middle, where it sort of dragged on a little bit, and you started thinking you were watching a TV series, as I said before. But overall, it's a very enjoyable movie. The packaging itself is pretty standard for a Blu-ray release. I wasn't wowed by it. I pretty much liked the first one, but I can sort of understand due to, I guess, economic times why they chose a different or more standard approach for a Blu-ray box. And yeah, I mean, if we were gonna rate this out of 5, hands down, 5 out of 5. Seriously, watch the first one, 1.11, then go watch this, and you'll understand why it deserves a 5 out of 5. If you like your sci-fi opera, end-of-the-world catastrophe with human elements and emotions, oh, and by the way, that's a key element of these 2 movies, emotions. Is the stuff you're seeing here is just breathtaking, you know, the character development that goes on in these movies are amazing. Where I believe it was the first series, yes, it was the first series, where the protagonist will be forever known for the wimpiness that he embodies. This time around, in the first movie, yeah, he was more or less the same, a little bit more uppity, I don't know if that's the right term for it. But in this second one, the change was dramatic. I mean, for the good. I mean, when Shinji got sad in this, when there was a situation that demanded such emotion, you felt it and you understood. Whereas in the series, you were constantly complaining, you know, shut up, seriously, just man up and do this. But in these movies, there's real emotions running through, and that's the central theme of it. But yeah, emotions are the key to understanding, I guess, in my honest opinion. If you want to understand the secret of Evangelion, emotions are the key. And we will have to see what happens in episode, or I rather say movie 3. It's going to be interesting to see how they redevelop this amazing franchise. Obviously, this is a rebuild. It's supposed to be for newcomers and old fans. This is so much simpler to digest than the original series. And you all know the scandals and all the other stuff that happened on production over there in Japan with the original series. But this time around, Anno really, you know, hats off, dude. I mean, you just pulled off one of the greatest comebacks, in my opinion. So, yeah, I mean, that's about it. If you guys have any opinions, comment below on our YouTube page right here. But we're also on Facebook and Twitter. That's just type AWeekInGeekdom, and we promise you that we will be there. Thank you for tuning in and sharing this video around the world. Of course, to sign it off, this has been episode 3 of A Week in Geekdom Reviews. I am your host, Giovanni Melendez. Stay tuned, because next episode, episode 4, we will be having a review with our lovable co-host, Mr. Brian Perez. So, for everyone here and myself, this has been A Week in Geekdom Reviews. Laters! Wow! Did you see that?